Hey guys, welcome to Technibility, your source for no-nonsense tech. My name is Berge, and we got a great comparison here for you guys today. The iPhone 6 Plus versus the OnePlus One. So let's get started here, guys. Alright, we have a unique comparison because the OnePlus One technically isn't out for the public yet, will be soon. You gotta have an invitation basically, but they're gonna release it soon. 64 gigabyte and 16, $349 and $299 respectively. Factory unlocked out of the box. Whereas with the iPhone 6, you can get it for every carrier. This is the Verizon 64 gigabyte model Gold. You can get this right now. It's almost $900 if you buy it outright, or you can buy it on contract subsidy for $299 or $399 depending on what model gigabyte you want. Now, both devices are unlocked. Both devices are 64 gigabyte. And both devices have a 5.5-inch display, but they're different. Why? Of course, because this one's running iOS, and this one right here is running stock Android with CM11 4.4.4. So iOS 8 versus KitKat 4.4.4. All right, before we get started with software, let's go ahead and take a look at the hardware and go through the spec rundown. All right, so you can see both devices are fairly thin. The iPhone 6 Plus is 7.1 millimeters. And the OnePlus One is 8.9. The OnePlus One protrudes out slightly in the center. The iPhone 6 Plus, on the other hand, does not protrude, but it does have a protruding camera. And the reason Apple did that was because they didn't want to compromise size, so they had to have the camera come out a little bit. It is sapphire glass, so supposedly it's supposed to be scratch-proof. Now, with that said, there's a smaller bezel here on the OnePlus One as opposed to the iPhone 6 Plus. You can see you have a lot of top, side, and bottom on the iPhone 6 Plus, where you have the Touch ID sensor, of course. You have the side bezel, the top with the front-facing camera, 1.3 megapixel, and the speaker. On the OnePlus One, you have the front-facing 5 megapixel camera. You have the on-screen navigation buttons, and you also have the navigation buttons below, so you can enable those and disable the on-screen to basically get rid of the to get more screen real estate on the OnePlus One. Both are 5.5-inch 1080p, rendering 401 pixels per inch. Both had really good viewing angles. Okay, both are really good in direct sunlight in terms of the lux rating. You can view both of them really pretty well in direct sunlight. They don't really, both of them don't lose any color saturation in certain viewing angles, but with the OnePlus One you do have the ability here to customize or adjust the tint and the contrast and whatnot of the screen. You can see the back here with the OnePlus One, you have a matte-like finish, 13 megapixel camera with with dual LED flash. You have the Cyanogen logo, again a matte finish. On the iPhone, on the other hand, you have the gold Apple logo with the iPhone text, the 8 megapixel camera with the flash. On the sides, you have the nano SIM tray here on the iPhone with the power button now on the side as opposed to on the top where it used to be. With the OnePlus One, you have the power button right here. On the bottom, you have the single speaker for the iPhone with a lightning port, the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and on the OnePlus One, you have the micro USB with the dual speakers, which is really cool. Nano SIM on the OnePlus One, volume rockers right there, volume rockers right here on the iPhone as well, silent mode and whatnot, and again, on the top, you have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the OnePlus One and nothing on the iPhone. So in terms of hardware, both are very well built, but the difference is that the OnePlus One is half the price of the iPhone 6 Plus 64 gigabytes. So, and that's actually less than half the price realistically. $349 for 64 gigabytes. So pound for pound, they're both very similar. Except one runs iOS and one runs Android. Now getting to that point, let's go ahead and look at the software on both of these guys. Of course, you have 4.4.4 with CM11 right here. You have iOS 8, the finished version, customized for the 5.5-inch screen on the iPhone 6 Plus. You can see you have specific features like being able to basically pan the screen down so you can access apps that might be too hard to reach all the way on the top. This also works for the dialer. Say, for example, you want to pan down and then pan back up to get the keys right there. And you have, of course, auto rotate here, so you can view it in landscape and portrait mode, and you can access the notification center as well as the control center in that mode as well. Whereas with the OnePlus One, you can't do landscape and portrait, but you do have the ability to access the notification bar as well as the secondary notification bar, the quick settings panel. You can see if I was to just use the right side, I can access that, or the left side and access that, or use two fingers and access it. So it's basically there for your taking if you want to use it, customize it. You can customize these tabs right here. You can remove them and add them and do as you so please. And you can see just in terms of speed, this thing is super fast. Okay, so the software does not lag because it is running on a 2.5 gigahertz Snapdragon 801 processor with an Adreno 330 GPU, 3 gigabytes of RAM in this beast. Okay, so it's definitely high end, and it's got a beautiful screen. I mean, I have to emphasize that the screen does kind of sit up off the frame. You can see that right there, and it's really a unique and sleek design. Feels really good in the hand. It's really not that big for a 5.5-inch display. So in terms of specs and build, this thing is definitely high end, especially for a $349 price tag for the 64 gigabyte model. Whereas with the iPhone, you have a 8.8 processor. We don't know exactly what it's clocked in at yet. M8 GPU, 1 gigabyte of RAM, which is, a little bit disappointing. But people will always emphasize that RAM doesn't matter on the iPhone. I guess, to each their own in that regard. But of course, again, you have access to the notification bar. You get notifications. You can swipe them away. If you got a message, you can reply directly from up there. One of the cool things about iOS now is that third-party apps do actually now sync in here with the sharing options. So if you go to the sharing options, you could see that you could click on more, and third-party apps will sync in there. So the ability to do that is cool. You could do multiple pictures at a time. Android has always had the ability to sync third-party apps into the sharing options because it is an open source platform. So the ability has always been there. It's something that we've always appreciated. And you can see the gallery here on stock CM. Okay, so if I was to click on a picture, for example, you could share it and third-party apps will sync directly here. Of course, you have the ability to edit both. So if I click on the 3 dot, you get the editing. You don't have a 3 dot here. There's no back button. So one of the issues that you might have on the iPhone is having to pan all the way up to go back on a certain screen. There are certain gestures and specific apps that you can access, like the messaging apps, whereas with CM now, they've added the ability to gesture to do certain tasks, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like here on CM. But you can see the editing options on both, filters, the ability to adjust contrast, brightness, saturation, etc. So the editing options on both are cool. And you can see in order to exit out of an app, you click on home, you click on the home button. On the iPhone, you click on the on-screen navigation home key here on the OnePlus One, and you go home. And to actually multitask, you click on that button right there. Over here, you double tap, you can see the recent contact. So if I was to click on it, I can message or call the recent contact. I can simply swipe away an app, and again, you have this in both landscape and portrait mode if you have that enabled. So you could swipe them away. Over here, you can swipe them away one by one, or you could just click on that, get rid of them all together. All right, let's go ahead and quickly look at the cameras on both of them. Okay, and then we'll do some speed tests as well. All right, you can see the camera features: panorama, square, photo, video, slow-mo, time-lapse. In terms of just overall features, the iPhone's going to offer you more in terms of getting slow motion at 240 frames per second and having the filters there as you're taking the picture. So in that regard, you will get more features. But in terms of sheer quality, I think both of these are really solid. They both have really good quality, and I would argue that the front-facing camera here on the OnePlus One, or not even argue, it's 5 megapixel versus 1.3 megapixels. So in terms of front-facing camera, the OnePlus One really kind of upped the ante by adding a 5 megapixel shooter. So you can see the quality is really good on both. They both take really good pictures. You have burst mode here. You have burst mode here as well, up to 20 photos. So burst mode on both. If you're someone who just likes to take photos and post them on your social networks, both these phones will be good. Optical image stabilization on the iPhone. You have a dual LED flash here on the OnePlus One, 13 versus 8 megapixel. However, they are saying that this takes pictures, the quality looks like it's up to 41 megapixel. I don't know if that's true. We'll leave that up to the camera enthusiasts to decide. But both have really good cameras in terms of just taking day-to-day photos. But again, $349 versus $700, $900. So there's quite a difference in the price tag there. Now going to the calendars, you can see both are minimal in terms of their overall system. Minimal text, minimal apps, minimal icons. You don't see many shadows, gradients, skeuomorphism, and they've done that intentionally. Actually, CM and stock Android has been like this since Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0. The iPhone has just adopted this with iOS 7. Going and looking at some games here. Let's go ahead and open Temple Run 2 on both. Okay, go ahead and zoom in. Okay, both are smooth. On Temple Run Oz, it's much smoother on the Android phone. Oops, I already died. But you can see just in terms of graphics and whatnot, they're both really smooth, really fluid, fast to open. Of course, you have the ability to customize these options right here on the OnePlus One. Go into the lock screens before I get into other games, because I just want to get this out of the way as well. Right, you can see you can customize the lock screen here. This is what it comes with out of the box with CM. And of course, with the iPhone, you have the ability to utilize the Touch ID sensor for not just the lock screen, but apps and a variety of different features, passcodes, camera, notifications, control center, unlock. Here you can set up widgets. You see it says never settle. And I'm going to just scroll down there and then unlock the phone. And again, you can see just in terms of sheer speed, both are really fast. Setting up folders, very easy. Drag an icon into another icon. Same here with the OnePlus One. Drag an icon into another icon. And kind of different in terms of their folders, but similar in philosophy. One is a circle, one's square. But you can see the folders here on both. Easy to use, quick, fast, fluid. That's all we can ask for, guys, is quick, fast, and fluid. All right, let's go ahead and run some more games. A few more games here before we get into Antutu benchmarks. Let's go ahead and run jackpot slots here on both. Now the sound quality is really good on both of these devices. Okay, but the iPhone has one speaker, but it's still very loud, whereas the OnePlus One has dual speakers, also very loud. Now this specific game, in my opinion, runs slightly better on Android. You can see I could just simply swipe like that. Over here, you don't have that ability to actually swipe it manually, or you do, but it doesn't, you know, like you said, move it. Over here, I can't. It's just swipe it and it goes, but just a little nitpick, nothing too bad. All right, and again, exiting out, just click on the home button. All right, multitasking, swipe away, swipe away. All right, close, close. Okay. See the weather widget here. You don't have widgets yet on iOS, but you do have the ability to add notification widgets. By clicking on the Today tab here, you can click on Edit. And you can add a variety of different widgets and whatnot here on iOS 8. And of course, if you rotate the phone, you can see with Hangouts now, it kind of gives you that that iPad-esque feel and look. All right. Whereas with Android, you do have Google Hangouts as their stock SMS and MMS client. Okay, oops, let's finish there. Go to Hangouts. And you have gestures here as well, so you can gesture to your contacts, gesture to your current text and whatnot. So let's go home as well. And you have an app drawer here on the OnePlus One. You don't have an app drawer on iOS, never have, and you're probably never going to. So that's philosophical differences here. And clicking on YouTube here, let's look at some video quality on both 5.5-inch 1080p displays. All right, we're going to go ahead and just search Technibility and play the same video here. We'll go ahead and play the iPhone 6 versus iPhone 6 Plus. You can see it loaded faster. Well, it depends on network as well. And one thing is on a normal cellular network, you do get high quality with the OnePlus One, whereas with the iPhone, it won't play in high quality over your cellular network.
All right, we got a great comparison here today for you guys. iPhone 6 Plus versus the iPhone 6. Now you may be wondering, what's the point of this comparison here today for you guys? The iPhone 6 Plus versus the iPhone 6. Now you may be wondering, what's the point of this comparison, right? They're both very similar. They're pretty much
Then you have access to the notification and the control center.
Notification. But we are going to go
and the control center and the notification center.
Features that they both have that make them unique, and what makes them different. And
okay, going home. Going home. All right, we're not going to get too detailed with every single app here for these devices, but what we are going to do is look at a few of their customizations and what they have to offer. Now, if you haven't already seen our OnePlus One individual review, check that out because it basically covers everything in relation to this phone. If we were to go to settings, you can see the multitude of different customizations. Again, we're not going to go through these one by one. You can find this in the individual review. You have theme packs, you have fonts, you have all types of different customizations that you could download from the Play Store or directly through the actual system. So quite a few options here. Very easy, simple to use settings menu. Whereas with iOS, you do have a few customizations now. For example, you could download Swipe from the App Store, and you can actually have Swipe as your keyboard. You have a variety of different wallpapers. I actually prefer the wallpapers here on iOS. They're just a little bit more high quality. Of course, you have the mail contacts, iMessages, etc. So you have a few customizations here with the iPhone. No doubt about that. There are a few new features. The Touch ID sensor is improved. I wish they did give us the ability to customize the control center. Hopefully that will come with a future build of Android. Now in terms of maps, you have Google Maps on the iPhone as well if you download the third-party app. You have Google Maps stock, of course, with the OnePlus One. Let's go ahead and compare Apple Maps with Google Maps here. Just look at the difference on both. Very similar. I mean, if you're looking for directions, they're similar. But I prefer Google Maps. I'm always going to prefer Google Maps over Apple Maps. I just think it's a better system. Speaking of system, tell me the weather.
It's 77 degrees and clear in Los Angeles.
Looks like nice weather coming up between today and October 1st, 2014.
Now, you have the ability to do this. Okay, Google. Who is the 12th President of the United States?
Zachary Taylor was the 12th President of the United States.
Okay, Siri. Siri's checking.
Here's what I found on the web for who is the 12th President of the United
Why
States.
didn't you just tell me? What is 6 minus 6 plus 3 minus 9 to the second power?
Let me
The
think about
answer is
that.
5.96.
Okay.
The answer is -6.
Well, they were close. Set reminder, tomorrow 3 p.m. Need to go to the doctor.
Here's your reminder for tomorrow at 3
Here's
p.m.
your reminder for the
Okay,
22nd
I won't
at 3.
remind.
How old is Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt is 50.
If you want to set this reminder, say yes,
Oh.
no, or cancel.
No. No.
Reminder canceled.
Thank you. Open settings. All right, it's going to open the app for me.
Opening app.
All right, let's go ahead and do some speed tests here. Let's close out of everything first. Multitasking again. All right, so let's go ahead and check out some speed tests here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open and close out of some apps, see how fast it does it, both devices. All right, so let's go ahead and get it in the correct. There we go. All right, so let's see. Let's go ahead and open Facebook. Looks like the iPhone. Okay, looks like almost about equal on both of those. All right, let's go ahead and open the browsers. Comparing both browsers, you have Safari, of course, with Chrome tabs, Safari tabs. You actually have desktop mode here that you can enable finally with the iPhone. Again, they're very similar looking. If you look at the tabs and whatnot, pinch zoom, smooth and fluid on both. No doubt about that. Okay. See, the Lakers selected Julius Randle as their pick. Okay, so let's go ahead and go home. Now you can see the Android was a little bit faster with that. Let's go ahead and open the cameras on both. Okay. Let's go ahead and open the gallery on both. Again, looking at the respective galleries, you can see how that looks. Okay, you can set it up exactly how you so please. Of course, you could just pinch in as a picture and pinch out and whatnot. Okay, you can see, click on a picture, edit it, share it, do as you so please. Let's go ahead and open messaging on both. Alright, let's look at the keyboards here. Okay, responsive keyboards on both. Of course, you have the ability to do the voice text here. You can see that. Alright, so you have that. You can add a picture. You can see you can add your pictures. If you have a picture that you just took, it'll take you to your most recent photos and whatnot. Over here, of course, you have the ability to attach photos as well. Take a photo. You have voice. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Question mark. Do you want to hang out today? Question mark. Let's go do something. Period. All right, so they're both pretty fast. As they're typing as I say it. Looks like both of them had a few errors, but they were solid enough in terms of their
All
responses.
right, so I was trying to get Antutu to work here on the iPhone 6 Plus. I did it twice and it got stuck at 59%, but you can see here with the OnePlus One, 46,673. So that's actually quite phenomenal that it got that score, 46,673. That's the highest I've ever seen on an Android phone. Now I wanted to come in and I wanted to throw in the iPhone 6 just to show you guys what it looks like in comparison next to it. I don't want to do an individual comparison with the OnePlus One with this and the 6 because it's so similar to the 6 Plus, except for the fact that obviously it is a 4.7-inch display. It's not 1080p, 6.9 millimeters in thickness, same camera without optical image stabilization, and a few of the other features like it doesn't have a landscape and portrait mode. But in terms of just overall as a phone, in terms of specs as well, it's pretty much the same thing internally. So I'm not going to do an individual comparison between these two because I do think this phone and this phone are more similar. Now with that said, the question lies, what do I recommend? All right, you have 5.5-inch 1080p displays on both these guys. Very similar in terms of specs. In terms of size, 7.1 millimeters, 8.9, but they're both still very thin. Of course, the iPhone is slightly thinner, but you can see there's less bezel on the front of the OnePlus One, which makes it almost seem like it's all screen. I feel like there's maybe slightly a bit too much bezel on the iPhone 6 Plus. And of course, given what you're getting, pound for pound, $349 for a 64 gigabyte versus $900 plus for the 64 iPhone 6 Plus. So price-wise, you're paying less than half for this device and getting pretty much is the same in terms of, or similar to what you're getting with the 6 Plus in terms of specs and overall functionality. Of course, one's running Android, one's running iOS, so ecosystem. Of course, what ecosystem you're ingrained in, or whether you want to try something different, should also be a factor that plays into making that decision. But with all that said, I do think that in terms of bang for your buck, $349 and $299 respectively for the 16 and 64 gigabyte model, you cannot lose with the OnePlus One. Of course, the iPhone 6 Plus is also a great device, but again, just in terms of pricing unlocked out of the box, this device is definitely a device that you should look at. So with all that said, this is our comparison of the OnePlus One versus the 6 Plus. You guys have watched Technibility, your source for no-nonsense tech. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. And please, again, don't forget to support us by letting everybody know that Technibility is your source for no-nonsense tech. We also repair phones, so if you guys have any questions in relation to any phone repairs, please don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, you guys have watched Technibility. I am Berge. Thank you guys. Stay tuned as we compare the OnePlus One to some other devices, as well as the iPhone 6 Plus and the iPhone 6. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.